So this is a story, I must confess, that I have struggled with a lot. For several weeks I have basically procrastinated on it. I have pushed it every time I opened the story to read it. It upset me and I decided to do something else that day. So I've actually gotten around to it with much difficulty. It's among the most disturbing pieces of information I've had to deal with in a while, and I read through a lot of disturbing stuff. So I will start off with a trigger warning and a disclaimer that this is very distressing. It is sexual violence, it's intimate violence, it's domestic violence. So only if you can handle this information, I'd ask you to watch further. But I do ask the men who have currently tuned in, this is not your normal run-of-the-mill news story. So please stay till the end of the video. For my sake, please stay till the end of the video. Okay. So you remember the story of Gisèle Pelicot in France. She was the woman in France who discovered that her husband had been drugging her and raping her while she was asleep for over a decade and she had no idea. And then what made that case more horrifying was that she also discovered that he had been inviting other men, complete strangers, into their home to also rape her while she was unconscious. For years, she had no idea what was happening to her. She believed that she was in a loving marriage. She trusted the man she was with, and then she began to experience memory lapses and weight loss and confusion, and she thought, or she was led to believe, that she was developing Alzheimer's. And it was only in 2020, about 10 years after this had started, when her husband was arrested for filming women up their skirts in a supermarket. And when the police searched through his devices, they discovered a library of abuse. There were more than 20,000 videos and photographs that were meticulously catalogued over the years of Gisèle, his wife. Investigators believe that not only was she assaulted by her own husband, she was assaulted by at least 72 other men between 2011 and 2020. Her husband, Dominique Pelicot, had been drugging her with sleeping pills and anti-anxiety medication and then recording those assaults and saving those videos. And when the case went to trial in 2024, 46 men were found guilty of rape, 2 of attempted rape and 2 of sexual assault. Dominique, the husband, received a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. And what set this story apart was, in France, survivors of sexual violence are automatically granted anonymity. They are not named like we do in India in any documents, and nobody shows their face. But Gisèle chose to waive her right to anonymity, and she chose to be named, and she came out and talked about her story over and over and over and over again. And she said something that's sort of rang across the world, where she said it was time for change, for the shame to change sides, that she was not going to be ashamed of what happened to her. And her courage then sparked a global conversation about sexual violence and consent and power. At that point, I remember reading this story and I thought it was one of the most horrific things I had ever read, because the idea that a woman could be violated in this manner by the person she trusted the most, by the person she sleeps next to every night by choice, was something I just simply couldn't understand. That was the tip of the iceberg. What we know today is so much worse. CNN did an investigation that ran into months, which revealed that there is a much larger, more detailed hidden ecosystem built around sexual abuse of unconscious partners, of women, that exists online. And one of those websites apparently received 62 million hits in 1 month. A website where men go to learn the details of how to drug and rape their sleeping partners. It's a very specific kink. 62 million hits in 1 month to specifically learn what drug, how much drug, how to do it, how to check if she's really unconscious, how to make sure it cannot be traced, how to make sure that she doesn't remember anything, how to record it, post it online, sell the videos to other people, coach other people on how to get it done. 62 million hits on how to abuse your wife or partner while she trusts you explicitly with her life. I don't want to take the credit away from the CNN journalists who did the work. This story is theirs, but I felt the need to talk about it because I believe that everyone who has not come across the story needs to know that this has happened. The link to the story is in the description of this video. The primary reporters and correspondents, Niam Kennedy and Saskia Van Drone and Pallavi Bunshi, are the ones who actually did this investigation. This is what they discovered. There's one adult content website called motherless.com. There were more than 20,000 videos on that website categorized as sleep content. These videos were real videos of women who appear to be sedated and unconscious. The platform tags these videos with terms like passed out and eye check. Apparently, there are clips in which men film lifting the woman's eyelid to show or to demonstrate that she is unconscious and she's not awake. The videos have been viewed tens of thousands of times because after these men drug these women and then show how they're drugged and passed out, they go on to abuse their own partners online to be watched by others around the world. It's not limited to one platform. Inside online platforms, Telegram channels, chat groups, men exchange advice on how to drug their partners. Some users claim that they are selling substances described as tasteless and odorless that can simply be added to the food or drink and render someone unconscious. In one case documented by CNN, a man claiming to be in Kitula advised what he called a sleeping liquid for sale, promising that women will not feel anything or remember anything. Others go even further. There are users who advertise live streams where they assault unconscious women in real time, charging viewers to watch. Payments are often made through cryptocurrency, making it very difficult to track. So these are not individual acts of violence. This is a commodification of that specific kink. It's being filmed and shared and discussed and in some cases sold. Perhaps the most disturbing part of all of this is that the victims do not even know that they are being abused. Like Gisèle Pelicot, they are often in relationships where they feel safe. They trust the person who is harming them. And when they experience confusion and fatigue and memory loss from repeated drug use, they are normally gaslit. Well, CNN spoke to several survivors. One of them said that her husband basically told her she was imagining things. She would wake up with bruises and she would wake up in pain and she couldn't understand what was happening to her. And he would repeatedly tell her that she was imagining things. One person discovered that her husband of 16 years was grinding her son's sleep medication in her tea and sexually assaulting her while she was unconscious. He eventually confessed, and when she went to the police and he was arrested, then later sentenced to 11 years in prison. This is in countries across Europe where raping your wife is illegal. In India, raping your wife is not illegal. Drug-facilitated sexual assault is one of the hardest crimes to detect or to report or to prosecute because the victims don't remember what happened and evidence disappears very quickly, and in many cases survivors are not even believed by the police. There is one survivor who says that when she reported it to the police, they turned around and said, "But it looks like you're pretending to be asleep here." The data is incomplete because as CNN was doing this investigation, there was a Telegram channel that vanished. For instance, social media posts have said that tens of millions of men were part of this online rape academy where they were learning how to rape. Fact checks have clarified that that number is 62 million, which refers to the total traffic of that adult website in a single month. This problem is not small, and the internet obviously provides that anonymity. It allows people to find each other, to share material, to normalize behavior, and apparently, according to this report, it creates a sense of brotherhood among the men who enjoy this sort of thing, a sense of community, a space where the abuse is encouraged and celebrated, and they sort of celebrate each other's achievements. I want to take a second here to just bring in this idea. The clinical literature, including the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, the DSM-5, classifies such behavior under conditions like a paraphilic disorder. When non-consenting individuals are hurt, Research on sexual violence consistently shows that these acts are driven less by desire and more by a sense of entitlement, by a sense of power or sense of control, particularly in intimate relationships, where perpetrators believe that they have ownership over their partner's body. Studies by the World Health Organization have also highlighted that significant proportion of sexual violence globally is committed by intimate partners, boyfriends, husbands, partners, live-in partners, making this not an outlier but part of a deeper embedded pattern of abuse. I want to give you some numbers. 1 in 3 women globally, this is not an India thing, it's not an Asia thing, globally, 1 in 3 women globally experiences physical and sexual violence, often at the hands of an intimate partner. I mean, I want you to just sit with that for a second. Think of the women you know in your life, including mother, grandmother, aunt, sister. 1 in every 3 will experience sexual violence, and very often at the hands of their intimate partner. We now have this whole new aspect that has come to us where there is intimate violence taking place, and it's possible the women don't even know. I mean, imagine the sense of violation of trust. This translates to 840 million women worldwide who have faced partner or sexual violence. This is not a marginal issue. I give you hard numbers. Globally in 2024, estimates say that 83,000 women and sometimes girls are intentionally killed worldwide. 60% of those are killed by their partners. So when we talk about cases like Gisèle Pelicot, we're not just talking about one person and not one man. We're talking about a system in which women are exploited, where the violence is hidden. I mean, as women, we spend all of our time worrying about who's walking behind us down the street, who's getting into the lift with us, locking our doors, locking our car doors when we get into the car, making sure we're not out late, we're not out alone, somebody knows where we are, as long as we get home safe. As long as we get home safe. But are we ever safe? Is that enough? Getting home safe is enough? What happens then finally when you go to bed at night? Is that also a place now where we can never take for granted that we are safe? Traveling between the Epstein files in the news cycle to this news story, I honestly, I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, yeah, because social media is full of all these ideas of not all men. But I feel like good men, the ones who don't do this and you know who you are, I feel betrayed by the fact that you're not angry enough. Why is something like this, why is it only angering the women? Why is it making our stomachs turn and making us want to throw up? Why are you not more upset about this? What is this world we live in which the prey has to sleep next to the hunter and trust that you are one of the good ones? I'm sure not all men. But I'd like to hear more men stand up for women. I don't hear it enough. I don't hear it at all, in fact. I hear it zero. It's horrible. I mean, we can have psychologists and the World Health Organization tell us that this is about control and this is about power and this is about a sense of entitlement, but this is our lives and our bodies and our minds. I mean, this story has come out of the UK and Europe, and I don't even know, I can't even begin to wrap my head around what this means for women in India and how we understand what this could mean if it's happening in India, where marital rape is not even illegal. How do we keep women safe? I don't know. I do encourage you, it is very hard, but I encourage you to read that CNN investigation for yourself. The point of this video was to make you aware that such things exist, so you can, in your own time, keep yourself better informed. For my part, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.